What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Serious Angler podcast, powered by our friends over at X2 Power Batteries. I'm joined here with the captain, Mr. Andy Full. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbrett. Andy, what's going on, dude?
You know, I just want to say one thing. I actually love these episodes when it's just you and I because we just get on tangents and have a lot of talks. But I mean, no, not a whole lot here as we're recording this. It's like the last half day off for me. I started a brutal run of guide trips. I say brutal because it's all relative to how many days in a row I should be on the water. But no, we're just hanging out this morning, waiting for my trip to arrive from Kentucky, and then we'll be on the water about 12:30 today. So as we're recording, what's up with you?
Not much, man. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning, getting all the tackle room ready and putting things away and getting ready for the tournament this weekend because it's going to be hectic because today my fiance officially becomes a doctor. So I'm going to humble brag here that your boy is marrying a doctor. But got all set up because I didn't have any other time this week. So this morning was the only time I had to get some stuff ready, and got a very important package in the mail yesterday. And it was a
Ooh.
big old Do It Molds box. And we're getting the tackle room all set up to start pouring, making a bunch of content for the Serious Angler channel. So I'm pretty excited for that because we got obviously jig heads that you and I have poured before. You've done a really good job pouring them. But I also got some really cool soft plastic stuff that I have ideas for.
Did
that,
you get a microwave?
It's been ordered.
Mm.
Yes, it's going to be good. So we're getting it all set up. And if people want to see, that setup, what that all looks like, some tackle tinkering, if you will, that's going to be on my personal channel. That'll be on Be the Fish, but we'll put some clips and such on the Serious Angler social media. But I'm excited for that. Got a whole big Omnia order in. Got some new baits and such going for rest of the year. And currently, as we speak, we got X2s charging in the back of the room. X2 power batteries getting ready for a long weekend that is going to be interesting. Friday is going to be 74 and sunny and south winds at like 15 to 20. And then Saturday is going to be like dead calm, at least for me. I don't know where you guys are going. And it's going to be 70% chance of rain. And like 62 is as a high. And that's like 3 p.m. So the rest of the day is going to be like 50s and rain.
They should shoot good on Saturday. Yeah, I'm probably going to. Let's see here. I'm looking at the wind right now. I'm probably going to make my way east on Saturday and go somewhere out that way. Because on Erie, it's probably going to be no bueno.
Not with that wind forecast.
No, and yeah, we're going to. I don't know. I have this recent, not like an obsession, but throwing bigger, like just trying to experiment and learn how to throw bigger baits. And it's been kind of fun, like diving in and learning how to tinker and watch videos on like building my own line throughs and stuff. So it kind of
gotta be careful with that, Andy. If you call 6-inch swim baits big baits, people are gonna come after you.
No. I actually last night I was sitting on the phone on Omnia and I was like, should I buy an 8-inch mag draft? Should I buy a 10-inch mag draft? And I almost did, but I'm gonna wait.
I throw the 8-incher a lot, and I got a bunch of them. So you can save yourself the order, and I'll throw you a bone before you go this weekend.
Oh yeah, that means I'd have to make my way to your house before noon.
I'll already be east, so technically you could just come find my truck.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll leave them out there for you. Dude, I can throw some glides for you too. Like, you should throw some big glides because, I mean, my kickstart a few weeks back. I mean, I've thrown shine glides before, and I've never really done it in the intent of like catching fish. It's always been like, how I operate in like practice. Like if it's clear water fishery, I got a glide bait rigged up. Never with the intent of catching fish. It's always to see fish because it's a great way to make big fish say, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah.
And, that means, "Hey, waypoint, come back in the tournament." But caught a giant on a 9-inch glide earlier this year. I'm like, "Oh!"
You're like, part of my French real fast. You're like, "Shit, here goes a lot of money."
What is it? What is the clip? He goes, "I'm never gonna financially recover from this."
Oh,
That's exactly what happened.
Next thing you know, Bailey's got eBay pulled up and he's trying to find like OG Chad shads, and he's like, $400, 7 of them.
I don't. credit card. No, we're not that dumb, I promise. But no, I haven't been the eBay craze yet, but I have been in the inbox of our good friend Mr. Kevin Baxter at Baxter the Bait Man, who's knower of all things baits, and trying to see what other things I can get.
Yeah, you should get as an MS Slammer.
See, like that, I don't even know what that is.
So, actually, a little prelude here. Tomorrow's episode, as you're listening to this on the Lure Lab, we're talking about floating glide baits and wake baits with Austin
Ooh.
Neary. And the MS Slammer is basically like 2-cylinder shaped baits with a tiny, like, pyramid style bill on it that literally comes like this, and it comes up in the face and has a soft tail that kicks. And the
Oh, like a
point of that,
DRT.
nope, it's not the DRT. We did talk about the Clash.
Similar.
But kind of, yeah. So, but this thing is like, I think it's like 10 or 11 inches long, and it just like slithers very slow on top of the water.
It's bigger than most fish people catch in New York.
Yeah. So when you watched, remember the Lanier tournament that Paul Mueller won, and Chris Zaldane on the final day, like ran out of fish out deep, and he went up shallow trying to catch him on like a topwater glide wake bait. That was the MS Slammer.
Yeah. Intriguing. How much is that going to run me?
I actually think they might sell them. Hold on, let me find it. MS Slammer.
I also really want to get my hands on a clutch. One that BP was throwing at Lay, but that shined at the Murray event.
Yeah.
That thing's like $250.
MS Slammers will run you for a small one, 7-inch or $90. A medium 8.5 inch is $100, and then the large 10-inch wood is $115.
That's not bad at all.
No.
But I say that's horrible that I'm saying that, because me 2 years ago would be like, dude, what are you thinking? But after buying a couple $80 glide baits from 6 cents, that draw, dude, was what I caught them on, and had some unbelievable quantity of size largemouth that I didn't think existed in that lake anymore.
Yeah.
Come out and be like, ooh la la, candy.
Well, Canisius has been on a downswing.
You had to go swing the name.
Sorry. That lake has been on. That lake has been on the downswing for like 3 or 4 years. It's early in the morning here. We're talking.
That was funny.
Coffee yet, and I apologize. Can you just like go back and?
No, I don't care. The lake's already. The lake is so good right now, but like
come July, August, everyone's gonna complain about how bad it is and how much it sucks. But like even last spring,
so much. Like it used to be. I mean, for my New York folk here that are listening, and I know there's a good chunk of you. Yeah. You guys know what Canisius was 5 years ago. And if you've been there since, you know that is a complete 180.
Well, the common denominator is one thing. It's grass. I don't think the fish have truly ever left. I think they're just somewhere where we're not looking. Yeah.
Yeah, they're acting, behaving. I mean, there's guys out there like that
there's
are
still
winning
guys
tournaments
cracking them every
consistently.
Tournament.
Yeah, Ken Golob, those guys. I mean, oh my God, I feel like a dummy. But the guy who won the Open.
Jim Bianchi.
Well, he's one of them too. I think he lives in the lake. But then, good Lord, before Casey won on Oneida. Before Casey.
Oh,
Jacobs? No.
Oh, Perkins.
Perkins. Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's a handful of guys that crack them throughout the year that have
I
figured
think
them out.
Perkins lives on that lake. So, like, he's.
I mean, he must live on every lake then, because the dude catches them everywhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Folks, we're getting into some nitty gritty local talk here, but yeah,
lives on that lake, and then he's insane on just about every finger lake.
Dude, we have some dang hammers here in New York that would do so well if they could actually, like, if they wanted to, but also to like have the time to go and try full time.
Can we name drop somebody real fast? And he's a buddy. I know he's a real close buddy of yours, but like Elks Coral, like
hammer.
That kid can fish. Kyle Patrick is on the verge of making the Elite Series.
Barely missed last year.
Barely missed. My buddy who lives down the street from me, Billy Gilbert, like low key, no social media. Absolutely.
We need a soundboard. Hammer.
Hammer. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Which I'm actually gonna fish some Wednesday nighters with him this year on the Safe Harbor Sun Life Series, and he asked me to ask you, Bailey, and I think I already did, if I'm not available, if you'd want to fish with him on Wednesday night. So yeah,
if I'm free, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, he has
Never
a
say no to that.
you'd like it. He has a 21 PHX. He's got raptors on the back and hummingbirds and
Ooh,
garments. Yeah. So
much
he's
much a sexy.
he's got a sweet boat. He also has a Keith Pochet boat. So which is cool. I want to get in that thing one time.
I will take care of his Poche boat while he's in his PHX.
And I know he listens to this, so it'll be really funny. He's like, what are you doing dropping my name? But no, that kid can catch him. He on Erie a couple of years ago in a Douglas tournament in September, he dropped a 28.5 pound bag. Like that's
Yeah, I
huge
mean,
for September.
I thought he was gonna do well at the Bass Open.
He did
Was
on
it
the
2
St.
years
Lawrence.
ago?
Yeah, he did well at the St. Lawrence.
Yeah, I just remember talking to him after the event and was like, he was disappointed even with what he caught because he was on like some really, really big caliber smallmouth. And dude, he's one of the ones I really enjoy talking to around here. I don't get to talk to him often, but when I do, like, the dude is very, very knowledgeable. So I would love any opportunity to get in the boat with these guys. I mean, we have so many hammers in New York that I'd just love to be a co-angler for the day. Excuse me. Bring a
It,
notepad and just learn.
it's funny, like you can take New York and regionalize it, right? Like, and I wish they would on a tournament scene because we have the Champlain region, which just pumps out like insane hammers for that region. Like Bass Fishing Electronics, Stephen Estes, right? Incredible angler on Champlain, that Northeast region. I'm sure he would do well if he traveled a little bit more and fished all around because I feel like Champlain, if you learn that lake, it translates well to just about any other body you go to because of
So
how
diverse. Yeah.
diverse it is. It's a very current driven lake, even though it's a natural lake because there's so much wind. And that will help you set up offshore bites on other lakes. And then you have the Finger Lakes region that even those lakes alone in the bays on Ontario, they're so diverse. Every one of them fishes
Mhm.
slightly different from each other that it allows you to go to a body of water, say in like Virginia, Kerr Lake, and Casey making the top 10
Yeah.
on a lake he's never been to because we have lakes in upstate in the Finger Lakes region that probably set up somewhat similar to the way that lake set up. And I can think of one lake in general that I've never been on, I've heard of. I'm not going to drop the name on it like I did on another one, but there are lakes in New York that set up kind of like that that are somewhat reservoir. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if we could go through a whole list. I mean, my buddy, my old hockey buddy, Liam Blake, who I
Yeah.
know listens to this, he's an up and coming hammer. He almost, I mean, if it wasn't for Casey coming swooping in, I think Liam would have won that open. So
Didn't
we have
he?
a lot. We have a lot
That
of really.
Oneida Open. No, I think it was the one that Bill Perkins won. Didn't Liam
He
blow
was
his
top 10.
motor? Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
he
color
the
motoring out and
day
catching him.
one, day one blew his motor like literally in the first couple minutes. I think he said, and then I mean, it attributes also to the time that these guys are putting in. Like I know Liam, for example, I've been in the boat with him where it's sun up, sun down, like just
Yeah.
graphing, like just putting in the time. So I
Stop
mean, that's
telling the
just one.
secrets how to find more fish. All right, like
I mean, dude, everyone knows that. It's
yeah,
everyone knows that it's if you can put in more time, obviously behind the screens, that you'll have a benefit. But it's not everybody can do that.
right.
Like people go and do it for 30 minutes, and they'll get bored out of their mind and they'll quit.
Yeah,
So it's
that's my hard part, and the easiest way I break it up is if I find something, I make a cast at it just to get it out of
you're
my mind.
overly ADHD. You're like squirrel. Look at that.
Yeah, it's fair. But no, I like to a testament though of graphing. I pulled my boat out of storage. I had 57 hours on it. It's been out for what, 4 weeks now? I think 5 weeks because I got it right before Nora was born, and she just turned 1 month, and I'm already at 92 hours.
Damn.
So
Congrats on 1 month,
yeah,
Papa Andy.
yeah, 1 month. It's it's interesting
How is
having.
it? How is it having two kids,
It's
two girls at that?
yeah. So women first of all, but I'm not generalizing here, but
I'm surrounded.
yeah, I'm surrounded. But no, so we deal with like jealousy and envy on the almost 4 year old's part of Emery. And then she's a little overbearing at times, wants to be like all in the baby's face. So we're always like, stop. And then she gets all sad and throws a fit. And Then you have to deal with that. And then you have two kids screaming at the same time, which is really fun. And then in the middle of the night, when Nora wakes up and she decides that it's party time at 2 a.m. and doesn't go back to sleep for 2.5 hours, like those are the days that hurt. That was
Party
yesterday.
time.
Yeah, like just talking and cooing and farting and having a time.
Yeah, sounds like being a dude.
Fair enough.
pretty on par.
Yes.
Well, dude, I don't know where we just went with that, but did you see our boy Mr. Matt Becker dropped a 30-pound sack yesterday on
and he
G-Bait?
caught them all in what, like 17 minutes, I think I read.
Something wild. I didn't get a chance to watch it, unfortunately. I was locked in work meetings yesterday, but if it went down and went down fast. I think his big fish was only like 6 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, he caught all 6-pounders. Is basically what you're saying. Like,
Yes.
crack that whip, bud. Like, hit him.
Awesome. Freaking
It'll be
awesome.
cool if they can translate that today. And I mean, that's one cool thing about like the BBT format, right? Like, it's catch, weigh, release right on spot. So realistically, he could pull up on that same school if they stay in the same spot, and they'll probably bite again at some point in the next day or two in the same area.
I mean, that's like what we talked with Hammer about, right? It's probably a window deal.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he probably knows where it's going to go down now. And again, I'm not the best when it comes to understanding ledges. Like, I understand how they operate, but when it comes to like a window, like, do they fire all day? Is it a matter of just getting them to fire? Is it because you hear about people saying how ledge fish, like sometimes it's good to have maybe 2 boats going because it keeps the fish fired up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that operates. It'd be cool. I'm going to try to tune in today, tune in tomorrow, and kind of understand that, like, be able to watch them and understand how that whole ledge thing goes down. Because I love ledge fishing, man. I figured it out somewhat on Chickamauga. I mean, I called you while I was catching them because I knew it wasn't going to happen in the tournament. Because like the flow was like 30,000, it was going to go down to 5,000, and I was like, okay, this is not going to happen this weekend. And I'm just sitting there, I was just sitting there. I'm like, you know what, this ain't gonna happen. These fish are grouped up, just making the same cast with a shaky head every cast. I called you just giggling like a little kid. I'm like, this is awesome. It's like every cast.
It's funny in bass fishing when you get something dialed or you figure it out, like no matter what the technique is, like how excited as a bass fisherman we get because like, ooh, I cracked the code today. Doesn't mean it'll be the same tomorrow, but I'm doing it right now and this feels great. I am on top of the world. And then 10 minutes later, after 5 fish in a row, you're like, damn, I can't buy a bite. Like,
it was wild though. Like, I think I caught probably 20 fish out of that school. I had some big ones, had a few 5-pounders, and then like it was just like a matter of I retied the shaky head on. I was getting afraid up, and then gone. Looked up at forward facing. See you later. I was like, oh, all right. It was kind of wild. It intrigues me, but like that's my style of fishing. Like, you know how I like to be offshore, like fishing targets, and granted, for my limited experience fishing ledges, that was fun as heck, and that's one of the reasons why I love Chickamauga is because every time I've been there, dude, everything's different. It's freaking awesome. But I know some people absolutely hate Chickamauga, but that's okay. But speaking of MLF BPT, I wanted to bring this up. Saw some interesting news.
This controversy
come through, kind of controversial, but like, you know how we operate. People know how we operate. We're not one to talk crap, if that makes any sense, but we do like to give our opinion on it because that's why people listen. But Mr. Boyd Duckett, head honcho of the BPT. First thing is he essentially was crappie fishing during the off limits period and was given a 10-minute penalty. That was his penalty during fishing during the off limits period because he was crappie fishing. So
now, I wonder what the penalty would have been for any other angler. You know what? Like, and I don't want to challenge like any of the anglers there, but I want one of the guys to go out and fish off limits and see what their penalty is, because I guarantee that if somebody else does it, they would be DQ'd from the event. But Mr. Boyd, and I don't know Boyd personally, but like, how can you only be assessed a 10-minute penalty? It almost seems like they favored the owner in that situation. It's like, you know what? Here, have some fun, 10 minutes. You're crappie fishing. How many times have you seen bass live with crappie?
Every time.
Yeah,
How many times do you find bass when you're looking for crappie? Every
crappie.
time.
Like, give me a break.
I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna go and talk negative about the guy because I've never
Yeah.
met Boyd or anything like that, and we're not ones to go off of
Oh,
what
absolutely
the
not.
industry says or what hearsay, but it's like there's a couple things for me. One, and we just talked about the crappie fishing part. I don't care if you're crappie fishing. I don't care if you're carp fishing. Like, if you're on the water in off limits period, you're gaining some sort of advantage just being able to see the lake. Granted, whether you live on it your entire life or not, or whether the entire field basically lives on the lake or not, you're gaining some sort of advantage. And my biggest thing though is, and I understand he probably still wants to tournament fish, still has competitive drive, but I don't believe that an owner of a fishing trail should be fishing competitively, like involved as a participant, in my personal opinion.
But if you go off of that with the BPT, isn't there like 8 or 9 angler owners that are involved in it and fishing the tour?
There's some that have stake in regards to like having the voice in there, and I know all the anglers have a voice, but like some that have a more heavier investment in the trail. But when you are like the owner slash CEO and that's your title, I
Yeah.
don't think you should be also a competitor.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
feel like that's a big conflict of interest in my personal opinion. Um, again, I mean, I'm not going to go and say that I can handle the schedule that I'm sure Boyd has because I'm sure I can't.
Oh, I'm sure it's
But
ins
it seems like a weird conflict of interest to me. Like I feel like it'd be really awkward for him, like if he went and won an event as the owner. Like it's kind of weird. Like it's from a more micro scale, like when tournament directors win their own trail around here type of deal. Like it's kind of weird. Um, that's I guess that's just personal opinion, but it's it's one where I don't see why it's worth putting himself in that situation, if that makes sense. But
right.
I feel like if you're the owner, how do you not know the freaking rules?
Right. And the other issue too, right, is Boyd Duckett, he owns a marina right on Gunnersville, like, and I'm not speculating here or anything, like, I look at the Derek Hudnall situation on Lake Hartnell. His
Cardinal,
Hartwell
Cardinal.
Hart Hartwell, his rookie season, right? And ultimately it cost him a classic, and he was on the water, and he called in and reported the fact that he messed up and was on the water during off limits, and he got disqualified from the entire event for being on the water like 1 or 2 hours on accident. Like, didn't even purposely do it. But then you get an owner who gets a 10-minute fishing violation penalty to who lives on the lake, owns a marina on the lake. It's just like I said, I just wonder what would happen if somebody else did it and
No.
what would happen to that angler and the repercussions. Because now they drawn basically a line in the sand saying that it's okay if you go on the water and off limits, and now it's only a 10-minute penalty. And I'm just curious what would happen if
Yeah, because
another
now,
angler.
dude, like, what's gonna stop other anglers now from
Yeah,
being like, "Oh, I can be on the water during off limits," like, and it's a 10-minute penalty?
yeah.
I'm gonna
Like,
be on the water every day, like,
it's like setting precedent, like, oh, okay, there's an off limits, but is it really off limits because it's only a 10-minute penalty?
and this is gonna arm them too, like, if they do that, and
Yeah.
then they're gonna be like, "Well, Boyd only got 10 minutes, why am I getting DQ'd?"
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just I don't understand that decision. I don't know if the specific BPT rule book is online, but I love to go through that and see what's in there. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wanted to bring that situation up just because I feel like it's pretty gray to me.
It's very
Like,
great. And that's why I'm just curious what would happen to another, like, let's say, like, like Matt Becker right now. I'm just grabbing a name because that's who we're talking about. Like, what if Matt Becker was on the water in the off limits period and didn't report it, right? Like, oh crap, I was on the water for a half hour during off limits. I didn't realize it. I just got off, didn't report it. Nobody knows. And then they polygraph him at the end of the event if he wins it. And now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, were you on the water during off limits? And he says no, and it fails. Like, does that mean he gets disqualified from the event because he failed the polygraph, or will they just assess him a 10-minute penalty on the next event and be like, it's okay, here's a 10-minute penalty, like, or do they subtract like 10 ounces from his weight, or what do they do if another angler were to break the same rule that normally would result in a disqualification, but because it was only a 10-minute sit at the dock penalty or pull up to your first spot, like that's my other question. Was it, does he have to wait at the dock for 10 minutes before he goes, or could he drive to a spot and wait 10 minutes?
I think he has to stay at the dock.
Okay.
But like even for any other angler though, there'd be like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it took that long for Matt Becker to catch 30 pounds. Like
Yeah.
it, I don't
Especially
think they're
on
gonna look
like
at that.
big fish factories, sometimes like those fish don't bite right away in the morning. So it's like, oh, you're saving me time. I can sleep in 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah. I think it's one of the things too where it's a matter of like if you're gonna make that, because that's a heavy deal, man. Being on the water during off water.
off
Good
limits.
lord, off. Yeah, good gosh. Um, I feel like at the very least, if you're gonna keep him in the event, and not DQ him for the full thing, you need to DQ him for a day.
Yeah.
Being that it's 2 days for the groups, like you need to make that something that's gonna
Sufficient.
influence folks to not do it. Like exactly like bass, where it's if you do it, DQ, gone. Like
But now they're setting the precedent. Oh, it's okay to break the rules, and you're just gonna get a slap on the wrist for 10 minutes. You know how many anglers I feel like, and I'm not saying like anglers are willing to do this, but like how many anglers are gonna look at that and be like, oh, it's a 10-minute penalty. Of course I'm gonna go graph the lake on a day that's closest to the event. Like I could see it now, like, oh, official practice starts this day. And I'm not saying anybody would do this, but like, oh, you know what? Let's start a day early because it's only a 10-minute penalty. Let's get out on the lake and graph because now I have an extra practice day for 10-minute penalty.
the whole field does it.
Like it, and now all of a sudden you have a 10-minute penalty to the entire field, or are they just gonna laugh and be like, okay, guys, like we'll extend official practice day one day? Like
Yeah.
I feel like, and I love the way Bass Pro Tour like treats everyone and Major League Fishing treats everyone off. But when it comes to like the general rules of the tour, I feel like they're not fluid. They're just constantly changing. And you
Here
can
we
never
go with
stay
this
on top of it.
fluid terminology again.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But
Sorry.
I feel like the rules are ever changing. Like you never know what the next tournament or the next tournament day is going to bring.
Yeah, they need to set something in
There-
stone.
There's like
Stop changing
no
so much.
there's no stone, there's no like pen to paper pad. It just seems like, okay, these are our ideas for a rule book. Okay, we don't like that one. Let's cross it out and we'll do another one. How do you like this one? And it's really hard to keep up with at times. Like one of the best moves I think they ever made was going to the 5 fish catch, weigh, and release, because ultimately I think that's where tournament organizations are going to go, because and when you have summertime tournaments, there's a lot of casualty that comes
Yep.
to these fish. And I think
Agreed.
you're going to see a lot of more events go that way. And then it opens up so many more tournament venues that are off season but allow catch and
Hey,
release.
Yuga, off season.
Yeah, like that part's cool, and I love the idea that, but it's like, just make it the same. Don't change it on a day by day basis or a month by month basis.
Stick
Like,
with something.
stick with something and make it easier for like the average viewer to understand what is going on. Because right now, with the whole boy Duckett thing, I could see the entire bass universe, right? Being like, what is going on at the BPT? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it could be kind of difficult to keep up with what's going on. I can understand that.
right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but it just seems to be an interesting situation.
I do have a question for you though. Like, what do you think is a bigger issue? Not buying a fishing license and fishing an entire event and getting DQ'd after you win the event, or fishing off limits period, knowing that you live on the lake, you own a marina on the lake, and you're going crappy fishing.
I'll put it in. I'll give you two answers. From a tournament standpoint, I think the fishing off limits is a bigger deal. from a general looking at both situations, I think fishing without a license, because that's technically breaking the law.
Correct. It
Well,
just
it's not technically; it is breaking the law.
it
Sorry.
is breaking the law, but like
I
I'm
think
gonna
that outweighs the tournament rule from a negative standpoint. As simple as it is, fishing without a license, and that he didn't do it. It was. I don't
and he
think
did
he genuinely
did
did
do
it
it.
on purpose, but like that's still you're not going to get in trouble from the law. You're not saying he did, but like you're not going to get in trouble with the law if you fish in the off limits period. You're going to get a slap on the hand like Boyd got.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get fined from the state and have that marked on your, like you can get tickets and stuff like marked on your record for fishing without a license.
Yeah.
I think in
And
the grand scheme of things, that's a bigger deal.
oh, I agree, but I'd like ultimately like and from a tournament standpoint, like he had
Yeah,
the
it's a bigger
intentions
deal.
he had the intentions to buy a fishing license. He came right out and said, I believe, that he actually had it like in his cart and then just got sidetracked or something and forgot to cash out. Like, and to me, I'm like, damn, that stinks for him that happened, but it was an accident. Like going on the water during an off limits period almost seems like, and this is my own personal opinion, like it doesn't seem malicious, but it seems like there was intent there to get on the water and see what we can do to catch other fish on a body of water because he lives there. And it just, to me, it's so unfair that it was only a 10-minute penalty compared to like seeing penalties that get handed down in other tours for less egregious things. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens of it. I mean, we have a couple buddies and we know of anglers over there that have a firm opinion on things and they'll stick by them and they're not afraid to talk about them. So
yeah.
we'll see what comes of it because it is so fresh. So who knows? Who knows what it's going to be?
All I ask is for consistency. Like, if it's a 10-minute penalty for Boyd, make it a 10-minute penalty for everyone else and just let them do their thing.
And now you're
Don't go,
playing a very dangerous game when you do that.
yeah, and don't go and disqualify the next guy if he decides to go on the water off limits crappy fishing, because that's going to be a terrible look for the organization. And this is all my personal opinion. Like, I don't care what Major League Fishing does because it's their own decision, but personally to me it's like just make it the same across the board. And we
Completely
know
agree.
from a corporation standpoint, like in your common workplace, a lot of times it doesn't work that way. Two people can do the same thing and one person gets fired and the other one gets a slap on the wrist. So like,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm worried about. The repercussions that are going to come from it from other anglers doing the same thing.
Well,
Time will
I guess
tell.
we'll find out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess we'll
time
find
will
out.
tell.
Yeah. Um, I will say I don't want to get into it here because Rudd and I did a whole episode on it, but the whole Keith Poche thing. Keith Poche has been really great to us. Been on the show before. There's been so many shows about it. He's been on Luke Duncan's show, talking from his side of things. Encourage you guys to go listen to that. Encourage you to go listen to Rudd's episode that him and I did, talking about our viewpoints of the whole Poche deal.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go and dive into it on here. I'll link those down below if you really want to, but we're not going to go and put out again because so many people put that out there and it's just not worth going and basically regurgitating viewpoints.
Yeah.
But I will say, Andy, something I'm tinkering with, and I got to give a shout out here.
Oh no.
Art from Spear Point Hooks sent me a bunch to try. Pretty good, dude. I
You
like them.
actually
Yeah, I tried their flipping hook so far, and every fish I had was pinned or either was very hard to get unhooked. So far, so good. I mean, it's only a day worth of flipping. I caught 15, 20 fish on it. And so it was working out. I highly encourage people to try them. I mean, I know they're new to the block, new to the market, kind of interesting. Some people might be skeptical of the hook design, but
well, I mean,
every single fish I had was pinned. So I'm
do you
gonna keep
remember
tinkering. I still love my owners and gammies, but yeah.
do you remember trapper hooks and like that weird odd design? I think Spear Point kind of took like a design
Actually
kind of
made
from
it
those
legit.
trapper hooks and actually made it legit based
Yeah.
on what like I've read and now you're repeating. Like it's like man, if you stick them with it, they're stuck. And I think it's something to do with like the way they bend the hook. It gives an area for it to like
Good.
jam around
Yeah.
like wherever you hook them, as opposed to just a big open circle
Well,
where
plays
if
the
you
angle.
check your head, it can really wiggle out. So there's less tolerance for that hook to move in the fish's mouth when you
Yeah.
get them. So from a technology and an engineering standpoint, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and I
Why-
know Hamner, who we just had on the show, is a spear point guy too, and he swears by those things. They, I mean, I'm gonna keep, like I said, I'm gonna keep playing around with them. I'm not gonna say that they're my favorite hook right now, just because I haven't put enough time with them. But just wanted to give him a shout out because he didn't have to send me hooks, so I appreciate that. And then when we go fishing next week, I'm gonna be trying their drop shot hook too. See what that's gonna do. See if that does the same thing. So yeah, shout out to Art.
It's
But
cool.
Andy, what you got coming up?
Lots of guiding, lots of smallmouth fishing. Actually, I might have a couple largemouth trips mixed in too, because I have a couple clients that are like, "Oh, we'll go largemouth fishing if we can't get on the smallmouth waters," and that's usually if I have a 2-day trip. But you know what I'm really excited about is that I don't. Am I allowed to talk about X2 coming next week? Like,
Yeah.
I just said, like, I'm really excited for Sean to get here. Last year he came up, and if you don't know who I'm referring to, Sean Budiak has been on our show. He's like the battery guy. We love that dude. But he's going to be here Monday and Tuesday, and I can't wait to get him on some giant smallmouth. Like it almost, I'm hoping it turns into a yearly thing where Sean comes in and we can put the face, like to me, the face of X2 on some big smallmouth, because that's always a fun time. And then eating some great food afterwards. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, it should be fun.
yeah, that's the
Fun
biggest thing I have, in my opinion, that's coming up. Like, got drunk with this weekend and then Sean. So it's going to be a fun 5 days, 6 days in a row. So,
Oh yeah, you're gonna have many laughs, I'm sure.
oh yeah, we never stop laughing. You know, I catch a 1-pounder and I'm laughing about it basically based on what technique it bites. So like I love it.
Mhm.
I'm ate up with fishing, as are you, and whoever tunes in and listens to this show. Like if you're listening to us ramble on about stuff about fishing, you have to be just as ate up about it as we are. So
Mhm.
it makes it enjoyable and fun.
And upon saying that too, for folks when we're talking about X2, like if you guys are in the market for a lithium or an AGM battery, we do have a code to save you guys money on that down in the description. You can go and use that code, Sirius X2, all lowercase. If you guys want to save yourself some dollars and get the best in the business. So check that out. We're going to have some cool content from next week with Sean fishing. So that should be fun. I got a derb coming up this weekend. I'm excited for it. I haven't fished this lake in a while. Well, I take that back. I fished from the bank for like 30 minutes and smoked the daylights out of them a few weeks back, but I haven't been on it, if that makes sense. So I'm excited.
It does.
Yes, sir. But dude, a quick episode today. We just wanted to put something out, talk about some things with folks. You guys, we always appreciate y'all. And I'm gonna go tune in. I gotta work, but I'm gonna tune into that BPT event today. I'm gonna get some time to actually watch it. Looking forward to that. And Andy, always a pleasure, my friend.
You
Talk
as
to
well.
you soon.
Safe travels, have fun, and congrats to Lan. So.
Yes, I get to go watch my fiance become a doctor today. So appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.